Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So taking a look at the jobs available to me, I'm going to go with this slightly longer. It's just over 1,000 miles. So hoping it's not going to be too terribly long. It's certainly a lighter load, just nitrocellulose, so it's a hazmat load. We've got both the hazmat, fragile, and important delivery. So that should help us with money. In my VTC, I'm part of the hazmat group, so that will also help. Kind of with that goal that I've got as well. So let's get going. All right. So we've got nothing specific going on here. I want to head that way. Whoops. I went too far out. Too much fun and excitement today. But let's get that going, get out of the rail yard here, and then hopefully we don't have too terribly far to go to collect this up. So it looks like, again, we've got a recruiting station there, so if I go right, I'll certainly try to turn left and then turn left. So I guess we're not going to go that way.
Turn left.
Disappointing. Guess let me take a look on the map here where we're headed. Looks like we're going back. All right. So, well, it might help. It's not like we're needing terrific drivers. So we'll go ahead and just try to move along. That is a lot of traffic for this light, I will tell you that. And more coming. Just hoping they clear out here, because now, again, we've got more moving along. It's still green, but maybe after this truck we can try, because again, I'm a little quicker here, so all right. Alright, so going through Casper. Obviously, again, as we mentioned, it's a bit of a bit of a sized town. It's not small, so definitely a lot of work to get, or a lot of space to go through. I cannot speak today. Hopefully we'll be moving along and going along shortly. Alright, so I know we've got a ways. Again, it's only a 20 mile an hour here through downtown, so I do need to be careful. Otherwise we're gonna kind of get stuck or get in trouble. I'm just going to say, I think we're turning left here.
Turn left.
Just want to be up at the arrow in case it changes. So, a bit of excitement for sure. Nothing much going on there, but so there's a nice blue police car. So yeah, I'm sure that's a local type setup. Another one there. Again, we're in Wyoming, so we probably have maybe a couple. I'm sure they give you a couple different kinds of police, because you'll have sheriffs, you'll have state police, you'll have the community or the city police, town police. So it's certainly not unusual to see multiple types of vehicles. Yeah, we're going to Chevron here to get the nitrocellulose. And again, I think we've done this before. The difference will be too, though, I think we'll level up here, so we'll be able to expand our hazmat choices a bit. You know, take on one more category, which I think there's one more that has, I think it's the flammable solids, because I think we took the gas last time, but haven't been asked to haul any gas or been given an opportunity where that one has attracted our attention.
Keep left and then turn left.
So yeah, there's a pretty good mix of the motorcycles. So yeah, you can see the smokestacks there of the refinery.
Turn right.
Looks like an abandoned gas station along with an abandoned car there. Pizza Hut. Let's see, what's this billboard? All aboard American Lines. Don't know if that's like a bus or
Get ready to turn left.
what that is. Not familiar with that. So I'm wondering, can we get to the road here, like when we leave, or it looks like we can, so maybe it'll take us out that way, or maybe we'll just go that way just to have that opportunity. So again, we're gonna have to stop here and actually check in for the load. So should have one marked with GPS. There we go.
Time to hit the road.
Alright, reset our trip meter. Where is it at? It's kind of oh, okay. Just got to get on the other side of where they, I assume they just loaded up the products there. So Chevron Phillips is what it says. More of those little daisies or sunflowers along the road. Very nice and colorful. But we'll see, because this is not a World of Trucks load. Should be a little closer in what real time will look like. So it's telling us 55 minutes, so basically right at the hour that I was targeting as the max. So it's good to know. So that means basically right around 1,100 miles is probably the most I'm going to truly be able to try for, but I also have to be aware of what I'm hauling, because you know, again, a heavy haul like we had before just takes longer. Alright, let me make sure. I think he's going along pretty slowly. Alright. So it's fragile, which means we can damage it. So obviously need to be careful with all that, as I don't look again. Alright, we're all set here, unless he's gonna dive over, which is possible. I think I'll head over to the left lane, because it looks like he's got something pretty substantial on the back there. I guess it's just a ventilation shaft. Oh, but we're turning here anyway. So we just missed it. Again, story of our lives. So turning on Curtis Street, according to what we see there. So we didn't quite discover everything back. I thought coming out that way we might have gotten a cleaner track to go back and discover all that road and have that kind of knocked off of the accomplishments. So I know we're over 16% of road discovered now, but we've got 1,066 miles, 18 hours of drive time, 50 hours of game time. So Monday night is when we need to get it there, because don't forget we've got you know, kind of the the tighter time frame. I'm just going to have to see. I'll probably stop in the evening here, because then I think I can get there in one run. Because as long as I get myself down to under 14 hours, which I can do, I'll be all set. So I think that'll be the plan, and then we'll mainly get some daylight driving. So if I go till 9 or 10 at night,
and then turn left.
that should be enough.
Turn left.
All right. Oop, don't want to get a ticket. Gotta be careful there. So, typical highway intersection in the U.S. Burger King, Waffle House, Taco Bell, a couple gas stations. Definitely no surprises here. Alright, so gonna be moving along here. And getting onto the interstate. But what I was saying is, like, now I can set the cruise to 70, which would be typical at 65 miles an hour. And so that time of 55 minutes, which is what we're still at, and we obviously spent more than a minute, so, you know, there's a little flaw there, and it obviously, that's moving, is how long it'll take. So sitting at lights and so forth, we're losing all that time, but now we can go up to 85. And then we'll be able to get that all completed. The good news is I think then I'll hit my goal on the VTC side, and I'll obviously make some more progress here, which will be great, because we can get another truck added. So I would think between the workers, getting some loads done, again, we're going to need about 150, 160,000 to be able to buy a truck and add a driver into the last slot at the Vernal, Utah garage. And then we'll be full up again. But yeah, I don't need to fuel up on this trip. It's all just about the rest. I can fuel up at the end, which is great for urgent deliveries like these. Actually, I think this one's an important delivery. We're not urgent, but not recalling offhand. Alright, looks like we gotta slow down to 80 here. So we'll try to be reasonable there. I know there's a car right there. Come on. I prefer not to slow down, but I also obviously don't want, oh boy, it's just too much to. There's something about road closed 3/4 of a mile. Do I have some construction going on here that I need to be aware of? Yeah, I'm not sure. It says 25 closed, but obviously the gates are up. It's letting us go. She didn't indicate we needed to go that way. I'm hoping I'm not going to have some kind of a weird problem here. So, yeah, we're going I-25 south, heading toward, looks like Cheyenne, which is still in Wyoming. So, trying to figure out if that red truck up ahead is actually hauling anything or if it's just an empty flatbed. That's what it looks like it's got as far as a trailer behind it. But it could have something laying flush on the surface. I don't know that that's common in ATS. I think usually the loads are a bit more visible in that case. But, you know, if they're hauling like a thin metal coil or something, sometimes they'll put them just laying down on the surface. Alright. So, mile marker 92, and I think that will be to the border. But we're going to be doing a lot of Midwest expansion and coast-to-coast mixture there, getting over to Louisville again. So, if I recall, I think when we got our truck, we headed over that way pretty quick too, so just kind of heading back, but can only go where people want stuff hauled. So, I see. So that says road closed 3/4 of a mile when flashing, which I don't think will ever happen in ATS, but it's giving us that visibility. He's probably going to dive over and cause me a problem here. Alright, luckily he did not. I can actually go a bit quicker. I didn't notice that. Of course, now I'm going to have to slow right back down. Of course, that's kind of how it always works, right? But still, we're going 80. Which is a far cry from 65 that we were doing with the external trucks. So I do have to keep that in mind with the external contracts, as you know, I probably want to keep those a little bit shorter if I'm doing those, just because of the speed limitations. Alright, so Central Business District. Actually, it looks like it's counting up, because now it says exit 100. So we might actually be, oh no, this is exit 10D. So yeah, I think we've got a border coming up right here, and before we know it. But yeah, even at 65 here, I can still go 70, which is always a little bit extra. So, Laramie, I think, is also part of Wyoming. Of course, now this says, is it 8D? I think it is. And then we're headed to Fort Collins. Whoops. Guess we're exiting here. So, looks pretty tight. Alright, I think we're safe enough to get going again. Of course, we got a car coming up. Police car, no less. That would have been a very unfortunate accident if we had that. But once again, hopefully we'll get ourselves up to speed pretty quickly. And be moving along. So here's Cheyenne. A little bit faster again. But yeah, we're already at 7 o'clock. But still need at least a couple hours to really make it feasible to then be done same day. But now we got 362. Although I think, again, it goes down when we're going west. So I think going east now we're climbing. So that means we're 362 miles from the border that's behind us, I believe. But we'll see what we come across at the next exit. Another refinery there. But yeah, I'm worried this is almost starting to look a bit coast to coast-ish. So we may be heading into the less populated area, which then, of course, brings us to struggle on the point of how quickly will we get rest areas when we need them. But hopefully it'll all pan out. So, fingers crossed. Oops. Let's head on over here. Kind of got that weird twilight where things are an interesting orange or other kind of color, pink, whatever you want to call it. Come on, Mr. GMC Jimmy. Alright, so E&J Gallo Winery. A couple cars, traffic getting a little bit lighter here. But yeah, this will be good. Getting another level up finally and getting another skill point. Alright, so yeah, the time's kind of a bit off. Well, maybe not, because, although yeah, it was like 7, so in theory it should be getting close, but no, we still have 14 hours, 40 minutes. Till we'd arrive, so definitely don't want to pull over earlier than makes sense. Not like we've had choices, but my hope is we don't get one like just slightly before, because that will obviously throw us off, because we know once we're on this Midwest expansion, the rest spaces are few and far between. So it would be best not to pass one up if we can avoid it. I was going to say, if we get to like 9:15, I think then it won't really matter. Then anything that comes along will be good enough. Because at that point, even if I go over a bit, which is really what would happen if we were stopping right at 9:15, but not, well, now we've got an exit, as I was going to say, not seeing anything, but now we are. So let me take a look, see what we've got. Alright, nothing there. So maybe Ogallala. Yeah, it looks like we've got some choices there. So we'll do that. Although, let me see if I pushed onto North Platte. I'm just, again, trying to get another recruiting station if I can. So we'll see how it all looks. But it'll be either Ogallala or North Platte.
Go straight on.
Alright, we can head over to the right here. And yep, right now we're 14 hours even, so at this point, once I rest, I should, unless I have some really, really bad luck with traffic, be able to deliver. And obviously, as we saw, we've got a little ways to go before we get to these places anyway. Whoops, they weren't kidding. It's a one-lane road here. I guess it's a ramp now that I kind of see what's happening. So tells me 75, but I'm thinking that's probably not accurate, given how they've burned us a couple times before. So hopefully we won't get any crazy stoppage here. Definitely slowed down more than I would have liked, but it all worked out. Alright, North Platte 73. That would take us another hour. Yeah, that'll be alright. It'll be 10:30, it'll be 8:30 in the morning. We'll be delivering in the dark, but I mean, it would work kind of similarly anyway, so the challenge will be, do the lights work out so that I can get that recruiting center discovered easily, or is it going to be, spending an extra half hour, an hour driving around town? But hopefully it won't be too bad. So, all looking good. Starry sky coming out. Might have been out, I just noticed it. But obviously that road goes along on the left side there, along with the interstate until we get to North Platte. But North Platte is Nebraska, we're in Nebraska already, so we're definitely like off of the SCS map if you had any questions or were wondering. See some lights over to the left, but I don't know if that's already seeing North Platte or... No, I guess it is, so maybe pass this car and then pop in. Although he's getting really close, so maybe I'll back off, because otherwise I'm not going to make it. Because, yeah, obviously he came right up on him. But as we figured, about 10:30 when we got here.
Go straight on.
Ooh, I'm really stepping on that brake. Took a little more than I had anticipated.
Okay, let's find a new route.
Alright, and I will go discover that recruitment center before I rest, because otherwise I run the risk of then suddenly running out of time, which obviously would be bad. Although we are 12 hours and 46 minutes, so I think we're okay. So can we rest there, or is that a... I swore it was a garage, that's why I'm confused. No, I guess we can, so maybe we'll just come right back and do that. And of course, I'm thinking it's a recruitment center. It's going to be just my luck. It's going to turn out to be a dealership. But this is part of it. We don't know until... No, I can see the sign already, so it's all good.
Get ready to turn right.
So there we go.
Turn right.
Recruitment. And whoop, 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 whoop. A little too hot. Not quite quite sure where it makes sense, but I think, yeah, that would not be good. And then this way we can turn right on red.
Right.
Nothing to look at coming from the left because there's no road there. I think the likelihood of hitting that green is going to be
Get ready.
0, but once again, it's just turning right, so this actually works out pretty well.
Turn right.
Doesn't really add that much. Got a little bit longer yellow with the real-time signals, and then we'll just have to pull in here because, yeah, I missed that possible spot there, but that's all right. I think this will be more conducive to getting in and out because it's really kind of set up as a truck stop, which is usually what you'd get with the immediate items right at the exit, just right off the interstate. So yeah, it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning basically when we wake up. Don't know if that state trooper just circled and that's the same one we saw or not. Alright, so this is the wrong way. So I assume that means they want us going in this way.
Go straight on.
The big arrows certainly indicate that as well. So we'll see. So yeah, this just looks like a giant parking pad, which is good. Alright. See you in the morning. Alright, so Branko, which I think was our new person that we just added to Vernal. I think that was their first job. Yeah, I guess it looks like we could go in either direction going into the back there, but clearly they're trying to keep this a one-way. No, he's coming pretty quick here. I was thinking with the speed, maybe it would work. Trying to, get through the light before it changes, but probably won't happen. It's interesting. It's a stop sign with a traffic light. I didn't notice that coming in the other way, but it's all right. And then basically an ungated railroad crossing always makes you
Turn left.
feel a bit unsafe, to be honest. But yes, we've got
Turn left.
12.5 hours, and then till we're supposed to get there, and 14 hours of rest time. So we should be able to get there today before our shift ends, but that also takes us right up to like 10:50. So, but I think we'll get there a little bit earlier because we're basically like an hour and a half, hour and 15 ahead. So Omaha's kind of the opposite edge of Nebraska there, so 280. Now Chicago, we're not headed quite that way, but it's actually further than in theory we're going, even though Louisville is further east, but I think that's obviously because we're then having to go a bit north to get to Chicago, where I think this is a bit more of a straight shot. And obviously it's a difference of like 30 miles, so it's not that different. But 30 miles can certainly be added on for just a slight change in north-south positioning. But yeah, at this point, you kind of know the drill. A lot of the same scenery. Benefit we've got here, it looks like, is we're going to get those individual pieces that we didn't discover here on I-80 headed in this direction, because all of our traversals thus far have been the other way. So this will at least give us a bit of something. Obviously we discovered North Platte as well, which we hadn't had before. And at this point I do have the cruise set appropriately. It just, has to get there. Takes a little bit of time. So while we're not, hauling a giant piece of logging equipment, we certainly still are hauling something. And even if we're not, it's not like this Western Star goes from 0 to 80 in 3 seconds when it's not connected to things. There's still a bit of time to get up to speed. But yeah, shouldn't have to rest, so we're going to get there nearly 24 hours ahead of schedule. Like a day ahead, a little bit less, because that would be tonight at 19:11, which would be obviously 7:11, which is also a convenience store here in the U.S.
Go straight
But
on.
but I'm thinking, I don't remember. I think we came from Tulsa to Louisville, so this wouldn't be the way we had come in. So I'm thinking there might be some new segments of road, but there may not be. We may have then left Louisville, because obviously we did. It's, we went there, but we left there. And maybe the way we came out and headed over took us this way. Just thinking about speculating, because that's what you do. You got time on your hands in the cab, and you just start thinking about stuff. So no big life things going through my head right now. It was just wonder if we're gonna go somewhere new on the way to Louisville, or at this point are we just getting those little segments. And even here, like that whole interchange was discovered all at once, going over it the other way. There's Kearney, and yes, I'm certain that's how it's pronounced. We had a plant there too, so definitely familiar with it. Spent a long time, or lots of days, lots of weeks here in Kearney, so smack dab in the middle of the state. So we're just about halfway across Nebraska now. But typically it's 3 hours to Omaha by car. Obviously we're hauling this by truck, so it might be a little longer, but I would imagine that before 1 p.m. we should be at Omaha. We'll see how that pans out. See how realistic they model stuff here. But if things are to scale, it should progress that way. So, not too bad on the traffic. Thank you, sir. I am glad he did not cut me off like a lot of the AI drivers do. That helps me maintain my momentum and my speed, because clearly for some reason I can't get this thing up to 80. I don't understand why. Nebraska's flat as a board, and I don't think what we're hauling is that heavy, and I certainly don't have a whole lot of damage. So, don't know. Yeah, we actually had siphoned off a mile an hour for a minute, but we just got it back. There we go, 79. And of course, as soon as we're able to do something, we get Mr. Infinity totally botching us up. Thank you, sir. I love you too. Ay. Always something. Always something. So I think I can get this done without having to physically break it up. Again, you don't really notice it, other than there might be a little cut here and there, but sometimes I'm cutting here and there because other things happen or whatever, so who knows. But yeah, you can see the impact of those traffic incidents, because we're still not up to 75, even though it's been quite a bit since that guy cut us off in his fancy Infinity.
Go straight on.
Yep, I will do that. So, I'm trying to remember. I think we had crossed the Mississippi here, we actually saw it, which is always a pleasant experience. I'm not sure, like, if I was a cross-country trucker like that, I don't know that sight would ever get old, crossing the Mississippi, because it's just such a impressive sight when you do it, because it's, in some cases it's a mile wide, but even when it's not, unless you're way, way up north, you will still normally have several hundred feet wide at a minimum, so. Alright, moving along. Why do you pull in front of me and slow down? Never understand it. Well, I do. It's happy programmers trying to keep traffic kind of together, but alright, so we're finally toying a bit with the getting over 75, but obviously struggling. And of course, we're coming up on more traffic, which likely is going to mean some ridiculous AI behavior that's going to impact us again, but we'll see. So if I can get myself up to 80, I'm thinking I'll at least overtake at a quicker speed. I mean, I understand, like, the realities of velocity, that if I'm going 80, I will overtake it faster than if I'm going 78. It's not what I meant, but just the way things are set up. It's kind of like once you hit that 5 mile an hour over, it's the closing distance, or the closing speed happens to be a little quicker. This is right in that danger zone where he might still decide to cut over, and then when they do, they slow down. Alright, looks like he put the brakes on, so I think he's gonna be a good person and stay there. Thank you. So we just passed Lincoln a little while ago. I did see that. It's the last major city before Omaha, so we're getting there. Getting close. They're not that far apart, actually. Lincoln, if I recall, is kind of the main home of the University of Nebraska. There is a campus out in Kearney, so Kearney's almost a little bit of a college town. And of course, just got to 80, and what happens? That. You've got to be kidding me. Why are you slowing down more? So frustrating. Oy. Alright, well, there is Omaha. We did get here before 1. We got here in about 2 hours, which is honestly pretty quick. I don't know that that would be a likely occurrence, but that's what happened. So obviously we're here when we're here. Not much
Go straight on.
to be said about that other than exactly that. But I think we're through. We got Sioux Falls, Iowa, Kansas City, Kansas, or Missouri.
Keep left.
Alright, we'll do that. So here we go. People of Iowa, welcome you.
Keep left.
Okay, so the good news is we're just continuing straight then. Makes it simple, not having to slow down to exit. Keeps everything moving as quick as possible, because I can't get off at 70 miles an hour and change interstates. So Des Moines 131 miles away. So again, we'll be there before we know it. Long line of trucks there. That'd be a convoy for sure. Of course, usually a convoy is they're traveling together on purpose, so they're probably all independent, but still a line of trucks calling them a convoy is probably okay. It's no different than saying, well, it's not really a pride alliance, because some of them don't really like each other, so they're not really a group. They're two groups, but no, it's a line of trucks. We'll call it a convoy. All right, Thomas K, 6300. So yeah, I think we're now safe, unless, of course, I have some insane fine
Straight on.
of, we can get ourselves a truck when we're done with this run, too. So just continuing to expand the empire, which is awesome, because that will just, I don't know, just gives us other stuff to talk about as we go. If I keep seeing drivers come in, you know, I'm okay reading off drivers' names and how much money they made me for the entire episode, if it gets to that at some point. But I think we're safe for quite some time from that happening, because like I said, even when I had like 100 drivers at one point, it still wasn't like I didn't always have one every hour or something. So, and so we've got a ways to go until we're going to hit that. And certainly, you know, things will pick up, because the more drivers I have, like obviously they'll all be getting in there. So let's say we have 50, and you know, I have 30 drivers that finish along a route. You know, when I'm running a route, you know, at an average of 5,000 each, you know, I'm getting 150,000 just from those 30 drivers, which is enough to get a truck. And then, you know, obviously I'm making money on top of that. So, and obviously as we increase even further, that just speeds up more. So, you know, we will get to the point before we're getting money coming in every hour, say, where maybe every episode we're still making enough money that I can just add another truck into the fleet. Just slowing down a bit because I see the speed limit's down to 70. I just noticed that. So we'll cap us at 75. Likely switched when I went into Iowa. I just wasn't paying attention. Sorry, bit of a yawn. Probably sounded a little weird as I was trying to talk there, because I was like trying to stifle a yawn and didn't work very well, because you usually can't make them not happen entirely. Although I vaguely remember going this way, because I swear I was talking about, like, do I go from Illinois right into Kentucky, or will we hit a piece of Indiana? So, I don't know. And maybe it was just because we were coming like from this space, like from Nebraska, or had come up some way that took me this way. Who knows? But yes, I do not think we're exiting here, because that just gets us to access Des Moines, which we don't need to do. We clearly did at one point here. But yeah, this might slow us down a bit, because this might be that kind of city time warp limbo. And it looks like it is from just kind of keeping an eye on my sim dashboard. But all good. We'll get through here before we know it, and then we'll be on our way further east. So now we're kind of on the high end of what I would call a short run. Just under 350 miles to go. So it's telling me 20 minutes. A little bit of a bump there. You can again see kind of the world ending, not too far off the edge there. So it's a coast-to-coast feature. Non-finished map edges. But yeah, been pretty quiet in the real world here. We had some warmth. We now actually had a freeze warning this morning. So they were telling folks, if you can, you want to get your plants indoors, because it was supposed to just be overnight and start warming up pretty quickly right at the start of the day, but then they extended the freeze warning till about 11 a.m. So definitely stayed colder than initially thought. But yeah, it is amazing how just kind of, I don't know, mesmerizing this is. It just, you fall, I find myself falling very quickly into like a tired, disinterested kind of state, because there's just nothing to see, there's nothing to talk about. It's just a little bit of trees, a little bit of grass, and a strip of pavement. And you know, because it's when you see those things that kind of break reality, where you look off to the right and suddenly the Earth's not there anymore. You know, it makes it hard to give the extension, because we've seen the fact that they don't try to make it look like it's thoroughly there, like the you know, official maps do. So, or you know, there are some sections on these maps that are better than others. Obviously, you know, when we drove through Virginia and down south that way, we liked it. A couple other add-on places that definitely were more appealing. And so yeah, the southern part, which is more where there's some more activity from Midwest expansion down there. It's just up here, they tend to just have ribbons of road to get you places, but not a whole lot more than that. So Hyundai Santa Fe likely. Could be a Tucson, but that looks bigger, so I'll go with a Santa Fe. Don't know that anyone's going to prove me wrong or right on that. But having owned one before, I kind of know what they look like, and it looks like that, but a Tucson looks like it too, frankly. But it's the shorter wheelbase, and so just a little more stumpy. And that just didn't seem stumpy to me. But yeah, if I recall, I think we went through a little piece of Illinois and then immediately into Kentucky. And it was obviously pretty quick, because Illinois is not that wide at its southern end. Certainly way less wide than it is at its northern end. I mean, it's not that super wide in either case. I think you can get across it in like 3 hours, but who knows? So there is a tanker. Don't know what it's got in it. Looks like it's not labeled. It's just pretty generic. But yeah, definitely strung together several sessions over pretty rapid fire position. So the only difference will be, I was thinking I would get 4 episodes at least out of my push to get to master driver status in Viva Trucking, but I think we're going to get it done here in 3. So, but still, in case we have some problems, still have bought ourselves kind of 3 weeks for them to fix things and to get going again. So always good, and I'm sure I'll run a little bit more before they get us 1.44 anyway. And hey, who knows, maybe they'll give us 1.44 and nothing will break and I'll just be able to keep going. That would be awesome. So I'll certainly hope for that. So even there, you kind of got just a hill that really isn't well laid out, but it's a big map, I get it. It's potentially hard to check for everything. I think we're crossing into a state here. Yep, into Illinois. Just making sure. Yep. Alright. But, well, it looks like he's stopped, so I'm not gonna move over and then have to move over again. Looks like they had a bit of a scuffle at the entrance ramp. Now they're flying along, but they were definitely there.
Go straight on.
That was tight. That was tight. I did not like that. I don't know why they built those interstates that way, because I'm not going that much over 70, so even if I'm going the speed limit, I think I would have had the same challenge. Alright, nice up and down. Again, maybe getting near the Mississippi, or maybe they just decided to put a hill in here for no reason at all. But at about 200 miles here, so we are inching our way closer. R&L carriers. Doo-doo-doo. Huh? Galesburg. Alright, well, so we are in a different space. Again, only if I suddenly decide to be a contractor for a bit and just drive for someone else will it matter that I've unlocked this.
Go straight on.
Because otherwise I just deliver to it and then I unlock it and take something from there because I'm there. But alright, yep, my brain's drifting a bit, so definitely at the point where it would be good to be done. But at this point I'm close enough, telling me about 10 minutes, 11 minutes actually in real time, which I think lines up to be about the hour that it told me. But yeah, we've still got almost 700 miles till empty in gas. To give you an idea how the fuel is doing, it's doing excellent. I know you can see the gauge down below, kind of a bit below a half, but it doesn't have that miles to empty up there. But you can see we're at 900 miles into the trip. So we've put a lot of miles behind us, hauling this nitrocellulose. So, knock on wood, we're not going to have any problems before we get there, right? Right? Ah, Peoria. Peoria, that's not that far south. Seems like we're in the wrong place, but okay. Unless they put it in the wrong part of the map, but... So, this is the home to Caterpillar. I don't know if they're headquartered here, but, definitely a key business, or key offices have always been in Peoria. So, if you want to work for Caterpillar in a, office job or whatever, because I think it's, if nothing else, it's the maybe North American headquarters, not the global headquarters. I don't know. But there's plant down here for sure. I know they assemble some things. I think John Deere has a presence too, but I think it's just a factory. Oh, sorry about that. I bumped into the microphone. Hopefully that didn't create too crazy of a sound. Don't normally do that. I'm usually pretty good about staying clear and not having any weird issues, but my hand caught it, and so it might have created some weird noise in the recording. Not sure if that car's brown or just in the sun. It's looking a bit like that, because it's almost like it's rust colored. I don't know. Maybe it is just red and it's just got sun on the back. Alright, Jana 5800 to just give us some more cushions. Alright, Bloomington. And Jana has leveled up. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Now, if they get us to Normal, Illinois, because Bloomington and Normal are kind of close together. Just don't know that they have both in the map here. But that's the home of U of I, University of Illinois. Although it's also at Champaign-Urbana, so it's spread around just like the University of Nebraska is, but oops. I've already merged right. I don't know why I'm suddenly turning the turn signal on again. Too many trees and road. Getting into the hypnotic state. But 75,000 plus I think we're doing 85,000, so we continue to improve our prospects of having no massive concern about buying a truck, because there was that comment I made several episodes ago of, I don't know that I'll do it much below 200,000 because I don't want to be suddenly like short of money for fuel and those things where drivers can't find jobs and come back empty, and we're paying $1,000 a pop or something. But we don't need a lot to cover stuff like that, 10,000, and I think we'll definitely have that. So there you go. There's Champaign. I'm really hoping this is accurate, and okay. Like it's a little late now to check it, but alright, and then we go through and around Indianapolis. Just seems like, I don't know, saying we got 105 miles to go. That just doesn't seem right, but maybe that's true. I am doing that. But yeah, there you go. So again, another just no land. A little bit of a map issue there. So not driven through here before, but you kind of get that view. But 5 p.m. is telling us in about 2 hours, so maybe by 7. Although, again, I don't recall if I have time zones operating here, because we're still in Central Time. We'll be in Eastern Time pretty soon. So, obviously, if that's the case, it's going to pop up an hour, and it'll be more like 8:30. I think Danville is still Illinois. Could be wrong.
Go straight on.
But yeah, definitely hitting a lot of stuff we hadn't hit before going this way, so pretty sweet indeed. There we go. There's the Indiana border. In case you were wondering, I bet you were. You just really wanted to know when we were going to get there. Alright, we'll see if it stays. I'm not going to slow down going up the hill, because I'm already below the speed I need to be anyway. But yeah, we'll go ahead and change it. It looks like it's not going down. And it's only a 5-mile-an-hour difference, so, because we were just at 70 before, so it's not like it's 10 or 15 like we sometimes have out west. Speaking of 15, there's exit 15. Alright, another 4,600, so we keep getting, like I said, averaging that 5,000. Which is kind of why I had that in my head. If I have 30 drivers that kind of come in over the course of an episode, I'll have enough for a truck. So, and that's just a crazy thought, that you just have enough staff. Alright, Crawfordsville, Indiana. And that, I think, is near Kentucky, so yeah, maybe just the way this is going, but we haven't even hit Indianapolis yet. Weird. I don't know. Guess we'll see. But we are getting close. Under 5 minutes till we arrive. Again, without traffic lights changing it or anything else changing it, but that's where we're at. Midland. I know of a Midland, Texas, but not sure. Trucking company Midland, not one I'm familiar with. Again, not that I know them all, but... Alright, so I'm thinking this is Indianapolis. This is where we'll do the detour.
Keep right, and
But it's telling us we're 48 miles, now 46 miles. Just doesn't seem right, is all I can say. Because I don't think Indianapolis is that close to the border. It's pretty well situated in the center of the state, so I don't know. And this kind of stuff obviously is going to slow us down a bit, take more time. Yeesh. Alright, need to be left here because we're not exiting. But yeah, not good, only going 40. So let's just make sure we know. Alright, so we're going to go out of 65. Alright. Again, just didn't think it was quite that way, but makes sense. And we'll be there.
keep left
I'm thinking the scale kind of messed things up a bit, but whoops, why am I turning here? Oh boy. Well, that messes things up. Because who knows when we can turn around. Looks like hopefully at 2:31 there. Sorry about that. Again, hypnotized and doing crazy things.
Recomputing.
So yeah, now it took us up to 5 minutes, so not a good move on my part. But it's telling me an hour and a half. I got 4.5 hours to rest, so as long as I don't do anything else stupid, we'll be okay. I'm gonna be good and go to the exit, because I could just try to turn around here in the middle of the interstate, but that would not be what you would do in real life, so I'll just head up here, turn around,
And then exit right.
because yeah, it looks like basically it's like 15 miles one way and then 15 miles back.
Exit right.
Alright, there's Martin. Suddenly, like, the scroll sped up again, so I'm thinking someone just, like, suddenly arrived at the same time. But yeah, it could be, because it was just a little job. Oh, it's a red light. I've done this in real life, too, where I'm like, well, nobody there. And I treat a red light as a stop sign. And my wife yells at me. So what's happening with me here is not sadly uncommon to sometimes what happens when I'm really driving, where you just get mesmerized a bit and lose focus, which obviously is dangerous, and it's even more dangerous with a giant truck. So I need to stop doing that, because those are not good things. All right. So let me get over there and hopefully I'll be in good shape. Whoop. All right. Pay attention, pay attention. Sorry, I got distracted with something else on my desk here. Shame on me. Ran over the curb there. That's not good. Oh, can't get the, oh boy. I was gonna say, can't get the cruise control on, and man, can barely keep above 10 miles per hour getting on the highway here. That's crazy. Oh, I don't know that I noticed that these mirrors had the indicators in them. Fancy stuff, fancy stuff. Yeah, probably not because of exactly that, because now I'm looking more straight on, and I'm normally not looking at the mirrors like that. But yeah, we should be, according to this, we're going to make 86,000, so just what we've got. Look at that, there's another 5,300 from my favorite driver, Vokta. I hope I'm saying his name right. It's gotta be irritating when people mispronounce your name.
Keep right. And then continue.
And some
straight
people are like, well, you got a weird name, you deserve it. No, you never really do. Like, it's still your name, it's just a respect thing. Like, be nice to people. Get their name right. Alright, so hopefully I won't make any more mistakes, because I honestly don't have time. Because I do need to be done in about 10 minutes, and if I'm not, that's going to be an issue. But yeah, I don't think this is 65, I think this is just an exit.
Go straight on.
And then probably the next one is where I need to go. But see what the sign tells us. I assume there will be a sign, right? Of course not.
then continue straight on.
No. You lied to me. See? Keep right and continue straight on. I mean, kind of.
Straight on.
If they consider this straight on, that I'm just following where I'm supposed to go, but... Alright, I-65. I know this well in real life. Definitely traveled this, which is why I'm like, I know you hit Louisville eventually, but it's not 33 miles away like this is telling me, so it's a little messed up here. It looks like maybe when we put in Midwest expansion on top here, we've got segments of I-65 that are suddenly kind of getting rediscovered, that were changed for some reason. I'm assuming here we have Columbus, Indiana, because then we're going to hit the border. Look at that. We're continuing to pad stuff. 6,600. Get one more driver, we might, cross 100,000 before I even get my delivery.
Go straight on.
We would have had enough to buy a garage if we needed, but again, then we wouldn't have enough for a truck, so we wouldn't do that. So yeah, after this edition, after I stop here and expand myself, we're gonna be a little while again, because we're gonna need basically that 350,000 before we can buy a garage and put a truck in it. So it'll take us a little while. Seymour, Indiana. But definitely a little later than I was hoping. But it won't be too bad in theory. According to this, we should be there before 9:15. So we'll see. But basically the next segment should be Louisville. Because yeah, now we're less than 10 miles away. I would think I'd be seeing it here. Now I have Scottsburg instead. So I don't understand what is going on. There you go, 16,000 for Brandon. Way to not just take us over the top a bit, but just to pound it over there.
Go straight on.
Again, if I remember, I think Brandon is the one that has the 3 length and distance. And so I will, once the other drivers kind of get one in every aspect, or at least every aspect other than fuel economy, depending how often I look, I might flip some and then let them get the next skill point in distance, and then kind of put it back unbalanced and let it go at that point.
And then continue straight on.
Okay, well, it lied to me. So I keep right and get off here. Alright, so there we are. So I think I'll be alright. Need to be careful, because this is like how cars then sneak up on me, and I got in an accident this way before because these guys drive like crazy back there. Alright, so this is 265, so it's a bit of a bypass, but I'm guessing we're going to exit here and then swing around. So we're over there somewhere. Those tanks might be where we're headed. So we've got Tesla over there.
Turn right.
So just be careful. Whoop, that was a bit of a bigger hill than I expected, and obviously caused me a bit of a problem. Alright, fine, you go by, because again, I would have cut over, but you're just mean.
Keep right, and then turn left.
I'm a big truck. I'm dangerous. Stay out of my way. I do not understand why people do not understand this, even in real life, too.
Get ready to turn
Yep, so those were the tanks that I was talking about.
Turn left.
So yeah, it's just going to be the trick of how...
Finally, we are here.
Oh, do they really just... Oh, do I have to back in? Let's see. Yeah, I have to back in. Alright, so we'll do this, and then we'll back ourselves out of here. So this will take a little bit of effort. Hopefully not a crazy amount. But we will try to get ourselves in there. So there you go. Warning, petroleum pipeline. Unless my truck jumps in the air, I think we'll be okay, but... Yeah, this is always... I've done these before, but they're always a bit more tricky. So there just is not a lot of room. And now I'm like almost cutting too sharply. Yep, of course. But at least I've got myself turned, so that's the first step. So let's fix this. We'll head over this way and kind of get ourselves positioned where we need to be. Just means I got a long, long way to back up, but it's certainly a bit cleaner than trying to do some crazy maneuvering, because this definitely just needs a nice, gentle, straight back direction. I'll add a little bit of gas here because I've got some comfort that I'm good. Yep. Alright. Just wanna... So we remember that one facility, I had to like tuck in that little bay over there. That was really challenging. This one's probably just going to be the middle level. Because it's, for the most part, a straight backup. I'm imagining, again, it's going to give us more than 25, but maybe not. We'll see. All right, here we are. So let's take a look. 1111 proficiency. We got a hazmat bonus, long distance, fragile cargo. So yeah, a good ways into level 33. Pretty cool. But yeah, 40 for trailer maneuvering bonus. So definitely not a huge amount. We didn't get, the 90 that you can get for the complicated situation. But thanks for tagging along. And I guess, I got to give myself the skill point. Oh, I already did do all the hazmat. So why am I not getting different loads? That's crazy. All right. But that's right. We got to get a truck and a driver. So let me go do that. All right. So truck bought. Let's go look at the recruiters. Slim pickings, which is kind of why I would like to do something else. So let's see. He's got a couple. I'm just not real interested in folks that have fuel economy. It's wasted. So all three of them do. So we're going to go with Yaroslav. Again, we'll place him over here. Throw him on that truck in Vernal. Now we're full. And then the last part is we set him to long distance. And now let me check these others. Alright, so he is at the point now where, I'm going to put him on long distance. We'll put him on long distance because, again, I don't really care about the fuel economy. So yeah, we got a bunch of these that can go on long distance. Goodness, look like they can all go on long distance the way this is working. He's already done, so we're going to keep him balanced. Need them on long distance. them on long distance. So the problem's going to be, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put him on long distance, even though he could get the hazmat, but I don't need that. He's on long distance, and obviously I'm assuming Branko still is. Yep. Alright, so now everybody's on long distance for a bit. Oh wait, oh that's right, he's unbalanced because he was good. So he's the guy that got us 16,000 last time. If we look at his log, you know, that's the benefit. Like he can haul some stuff. And so now he's also done a bunch of short jobs, so we'll see if it changes the others that much. But at that point, like once we're at 3, then they can start kind of balancing everything out. It'll take a long time before they get additional distance. But in any event, thanks for tagging along. Awesome that we got to level 33. So we'll keep plowing along, and I'll see you next time.